Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/secretspiceoflife. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Welcome to some shit that's considered legendary.
Hey, what is going on, you variety loving people? Hope you're ready to add some spice to your day. Welcome back to Secret Spice of Life. We're your hosts. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Well, we do have a quick episode here today, and it is going to be quick because we have to fit it on the camera, which is only about like 20 minutes max. So we started today at 3:30. So if you get our Instagram story or our Twitter, or any of our individual stories, so like... Well, what is our Instagram?
Just search our names. I made my account public now, so if they search my name, it should just come up.
Yeah. So mine's private still, so you can just go to... I have a public one, too. It's like BGoLunka12.
You have to search your tag if your account's private, because I don't think it comes up.
Oh, well I put it on my public one, too. Yeah. It's actually in our Instagram bio, so...
But you have your name tag...
I have both our names are in our Instagram bio,
yes,
too.
People can't vote on your private account.
Yeah. Yeah, and or you can just go on Twitter if you guys follow us on there, because I know we have a lot more followers on Twitter than we do on Instagram. But yeah, you can go vote on there. But anyways, it's about Netflix. We saw everybody doing the Netflix like TV series that they have on there. I mean, regardless if it is an original or just like regular, like it just got put on Netflix after it was done with TV. Yeah. But we made our own 32 team bracket for this. So do you just want to read it off, or I'll read it off, and then we'll just say like what we think, like who's gonna win that, and then we'll just go through there. We'll start on one side of the bracket and go to the other.
Yeah.
Cool. So so on the left side or the west side, we have Black Mirror as the 1 seed versus Atypical as the 16 seed on that side. So I mean, what I was looking at, it was pretty close at first. We started at 3:30. I think I already had like 45 votes or something on that one.
Dude, how did you get so many so quick?
I don't know. I had like over like 200 people looking at my story though. So, and that was just on like my private account. I didn't look at the other ones yet. But I mean, if you guys double vote or anything, we just won't count your second vote. We'll just count your first vote.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna have to go through all these accounts and make sure we don't have any double votes.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have to add everything together.
Yeah. But we have Black Mirror and Atypical.
Black Mirror is not off to a good start on mine. It was 100% Atypical.
Oh, really?
Only like a handful of votes, but like.
Yeah, but mine was like 54 to like 46 at one point in Black Mirror's favor. Then it like took off in Black Mirror's direction. It was like 80% Black Mirror. So
as I was gonna say, that'd be a weird
crazy upset. That'd be an upset,
yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I mean Black Mirror is probably the number one overall.
And that's why I said they're the one. They got the one. We gave them the 1 seed.
Yeah, if I'm going by my
opinion. And we did randomize these for matchups that we did like seed them correct how we think they should be seeded in our opinion. So I mean,
well, no, I mean like we randomized the matchups, but we did kind of
fixed
the bracket.
Yeah, we randomized the matchups, but we did the seeding ourselves.
Yeah, we fixed the bracket.
Yeah, we fixed the bracket.
So there wasn't big time shows getting eliminated early on.
Yeah.
Or like two big time shows facing each other in the second round.
Yeah. And to say we didn't include like The Office or Parks and Rec because we didn't want to include like sitcoms.
I mean, we do have. I mean, I would say Master of None's kind of
an Arrested Development
sitcom type thing.
An Arrested Development.
Arrested Development's definitely a sitcom.
But like those are the only two. But I didn't want The Office or Parks and Rec just because
yeah, you know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
People are like fanatics over like especially The Office.
Yeah.
And it'll just blow by everybody. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fix the bracket being fixed like that.
Yeah. So we try to stick to like shows with like actual stories, not just like episode to episode like type shows like The Office or anything like that. People are like, oh, they have underlying stories, but no, I mean not like really. But they're not
that meaningful. The reason people watch the shows is because they're ridiculous.
Yeah. And we're focused on like story driven shows like Black Mirror's an episode thing, but like each one has like an individual story. It's a movie
after movie.
Yeah. And Atypical is like story driven, so we're trying to stick to that. But then next up in the bracket, we got Outer Banks and Waco, 2 brand new shows. They just happened to go up against each other, which I actually liked, just so we could knock one of those out early. I haven't watched Waco personally, so I voted on Outer Banks. Just because.
Yeah, so did I.
And Outer Banks is actually really good.
I haven't watched either of them, but I feel like Outer Banks would be a show that that I'd like more, so I voted for that.
Yeah, and I'm on.
And I voted for Black Mirror, obviously, in the first matchup also.
Yeah, and I'm on like the season finale, Outer Banks, I think, or maybe I have 2 episodes left, but it's
you
pretty.
only watched like 3, didn't you?
No, I think there's 10 episodes. I'm on episode 8 or 9.
When did you watch that? It said you were episode
at Riley's. I watched it on Riley's. That's why you don't see that.
I was gonna say I saw last night. It said you were on episode 4. I was like,
no, yeah, I watched it. But Outer Banks is good, and I heard Waco's really good. I've heard a lot of good things, but it's a limited time series, so it's 6 episodes.
6 episode series. Yeah.
So I want to get around to watching that, but it was just kind of a biased vote just because I haven't seen it. But I mean, I hope that one comes out whichever way. It doesn't really matter to me. But then we have Tiger King and End of the Fucking World. I've watched most of End of the Fucking World. I think the first season. Is there 2 seasons now? I think the second season just came out.
Yeah, I think not that long ago, maybe a month or so, 2 months.
And I watched most of Tiger King, so I'm pretty much the same in both of those boats. But I did vote Tiger King in that one because I did like I do. I mean, you said that you don't want to watch it.
I'm not a big fan of most documentaries unless it's about something that I really like enjoy watching.
Yeah.
So I have not watched the Tiger King yet. But I feel like I'd vote for End of the Fucking World anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I voted for when we went through it. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't have anything against Tiger King or anything, but I'm just not a huge fan of documentaries. So.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't finish it, but like I like the like wild people in like Tiger King. I think it's just like hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that's what people say. Like people that have watched it say. I mean, there's some people that have watched it that said like the characters are interesting and stuff, or like the people are interesting, and like it makes it funny in that way. But like the story's not very interesting.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Some stories are.
I mean, like some of them are, but they're like things that you could probably have like picked out. Like this was gonna happen in a documentary about tigers living in Texas.
Oh yeah, it's not Texas. It's all over the world. They have them.
I mean, like, but Joe Exotic's in Texas.
No, he's in Oklahoma.
Oh, he's in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I thought you said he was living in Texas.
No.
Oh, shit! I don't know anything about this, but. I mean, I at least know Joe Exotic's like a gay meth head or whatever.
yeah, that's pretty accurate. But
and Carol Baskin.
That bitch, Carol Baskin. I love the memes people do over man. They're so funny.
Oh my god! How about the NBA 2K thing that they had Carol Baskins versus Joe Exotic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny as hell. Somebody made that up.
And then next we got Big Mouth and American Horror Story. I voted on Big Mouth just because I think it's like the most like outrageously ridiculous like cartoon of all time, probably.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I was like torn on that one. Like,
yeah, no, American Horror Story is very good. It is very.
I mean, like
good.
I watched more of American Horror. I mean, Big Mouth obviously hasn't been on as long as American Horror Story, but I feel like I don't know. I enjoy the horror genre, like type show.
That's what swayed me away from it, is that I don't enjoy the horror genre as much as most people.
So,
but
I mean, I love comedy is my favorite shit. But like, I mean, like I felt like I should go a different way with this one. So, and American Horror Story's been more of like, I mean, like there's been a lot of different stories with it. Like obviously they have it's a different story every season. Yeah. So I mean, like I went with American Horror Story because it's a little more diverse.
And I've jumped around in that a lot. I watched like the first and second and maybe part of the third. Then I jumped to like the clown season.
And that's a good thing with that. If you don't think you're gonna like a season, then you just watch another one. Because they're all different. There's no carry-on. Even though people say that there's stories that kind of blend in that series.
Yeah, there is a theory that it all takes part in the same universe.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, like technically nothing really blends.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to know what's going on before you watch the next one.
Yeah. And then next we got a crazy matchup, which was like perfect because they both have to deal with drugs, Ozark and Narcos, which are both very.
It's
very
pretty
good.
much. It's almost the exact same like premise, kind of. I mean, it's not really because they're not. Narcos is like the cartel, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's
some
focused
seasons,
on
one
the
season
cartel.
with the cartel, and then other ones are with like different other places and stuff like that. It just depends on the season.
And then Ozark's focused on the family having to sell drugs for the cartel or launder money for the cartel. So it's kind of two different aspects of selling drugs. Like one's laundering money and one's actually transporting the drugs and stuff. But I voted for Ozark.
I just voted for Ozark because I've watched a lot more of Ozark than I haven't. I watched like 2 seasons of Narcos. I guess I watched 2 seasons of Ozark too, so I haven't watched the 3rd season of Ozark yet.
I mean, like I think I finished the 3rd season, and I think the 3rd season of Ozark's probably the best one.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, like it kind of focuses on like certain characters instead of like everyone.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, they have some like a one or two, I think maybe just one interesting character that they add to the story in the third one that actually plays like a really big role. And yeah, I mean, like it's just different to see that with somebody that they just added to the show, that it was, I mean, like, I don't know, it just gets like real crazy in the season.
Yeah.
Like people just start dropping.
Yeah.
But
and then next we have Haunting of Hill House, and then Bodyguard with that. I voted on Haunting of Hill House because I hear good things. I haven't heard a lot about Bodyguard, but I haven't watched neither of them, so my vote really doesn't matter.
I voted for Bodyguard in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy Richard Madden is his name. I couldn't remember what his name was. I knew his last name.
You
was
watched
Madden.
Haunting of Hill House, didn't you?
Yeah, so
I think you said it was
it's
good.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like I thought it was really good, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I voted for American Horror Story in the horror thing, so I'm like, I would definitely vote for American Horror Story over Haunting of Hill House.
Okay, yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, they're a lot different, like horror type things too. Haunting of Hill House, like straight up, like fucking demons and shit.
Yeah.
While American Horror Story is kind of like a murder mystery type thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is like weird shit in American Horror Story too, but like, I don't know. I just voted for Bodyguard. I like Richard Madden. He's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Since Game of Thrones, he's a freaking man. And I don't know. I just like the way that show went, like the way he protects like the prime minister, and I think it's England or something. The prime minister.
Oh, you actually watched it? That's right.
Yeah. I think it only had one season out or something, maybe two.
Oh, okay.
But
is it gonna continue?
I'm not sure because it said like on the explanation thing that it was like a series type thing or something,
like a limited
series,
series,
6-part thing or something.
Oh.
I mean, like it was a short first season. I feel like.
Was it one of those shows that are released on BBC first, since it's like English?
I don't know if it's.
That's what they do with the Peaky Blinders.
It says Netflix on the cover, so I'm thinking it's a Netflix original. No, it does say Netflix original series on it, like on the cover that you took a picture of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm assuming, I don't know. It might just be a shortened series though, because there's not really a lengthy story to it. It's just him protecting the prime minister from stuff. So I don't know how long you could really go,
Yeah.
like with the same story over and over again.
Yeah. Again, next we got Lost in Space versus Living with Yourself, which Living with Yourself was pretty interesting and funny. Because they have Tom Brady in there too. Yeah. They had one very specific scene. But yeah, Paul Rudd's like one of the funniest like guys. Dry comedy and like straight up like just like comedy that anybody can enjoy. That show is like hilarious, and it's only like what 8 episodes, I think.
I can't remember.
I think it's pretty short too, and it's only one season. Well, I heard they're coming out with a second season.
Gonna be the way it ended. He has a kid at the end, right?
Yeah, he's a kid, and they don't know.
Or his wife's pregnant. Right? He doesn't have a kid. His wife's pregnant.
Yeah.
She tells him it.
But yeah. But I mean, that's kind of like the cliffhanger, though.
But like it's weird though, because Living with Yourself is kind of a Black Mirror episode outside of Black
yeah, 100%.
Because it goes through all the happiness that he has at first, and then how down he gets because his clone's pretty much taking over his life for him, and he doesn't have anything to live for anymore.
Yeah.
And like it almost goes through like a point of like where you think, oh, he's gonna commit suicide or something. Or kill his clone.
Yeah.
And then like things change at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I voted for Living with Yourself also. But I mean, Lost in Space is a remake of an original show that was like back in like the 70s or 80s.
Oh, was it?
I think, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like because Dad said he used to watch it when he was young.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I mean, like it's a pretty cool show though. Like they crash, like the Earth is like something's happening to Earth, and they have to find another planet to live on. And a bunch of people, they're in like spaceships and shit, like flying to another planet. Yeah. And then they crash on like some random planet or something, or crash land back on Earth. I don't know what it is, but and then they like run into the Will Robinson, I think is the kid's name.
I don't know.
But he like runs into like this robot that becomes his friend and like helps him through stuff.
Yeah, and they're coming out with season 2, or it just came out or something like that.
Season 2, yeah, it came out. Oh, it came out like around the New Year, I think.
Oh, did it?
I watched a few episodes of the second season.
And then the last one on the left side of the west side is The Stranger or Mad Men.
So, I mean, like, this one wasn't very hard to vote on because Mad Men's obviously more, you know, I mean, like, it's had the whole entire series go through for years now. I mean, it's been over for years now.
Yeah.
But, like, The Stranger is a very, very, like, different, like, interesting type thing. Like, it's like, it like makes you feel like, oh, you can't trust anybody, though.
Yeah.
Like, these people find out people's deepest, darkest secrets and shit, and like somehow, I don't know how they somehow find out all this stuff about people, and then they share it with their loved ones and stuff, and like blackmail them or whatever.
Yeah.
And like having to pay them money, or they'll let their secret out to the public.
Yeah.
And stuff, and like that's kind of a Black Mirror fucking thing too, because they do that in the first episode of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
Where they blackmail the prime minister for I don't even know what the fuck he did. I forget what the hell they're trying to blackmail him for. But yeah, whatever. They try to blackmail the Prime Minister of England in the first episode of Black Mirror, the first ever episode of the series.
Yeah, oh my god.
And he has to have sex with a pig.
Yeah. I did not have sexual relations with a pig.
I can't remember if it actually happened or not. Did it?
Yeah.
Or did he get saved right before it happened?
No.
Or he found out after that he wouldn't have had to do it.
Yeah.
He did it, and then he's like they said the guy just left. Whatever.
Left the lady. They left. Oh, they kidnapped somebody.
Oh, kidnapped
Was it? I think it's his daughter. Yeah, I think it's his daughter. Yeah, the princess. Yeah.
But they freaking she was already free before he would have had to do it. But he did it anyway. He had to do it anyway.
That's crazy.
Oh my god. But yeah, like The Stranger's kind of like that. Like they're blackmailing people into having to reveal like secrets and everything. And it gets like real crazy because nobody knows who to trust, and then it all comes down to like this guy's like closest friends being his like real enemies and everything, which is kind of true. Yeah, they say like your enemies are always the closest ones to you. Yeah. Or like a lot of times the closest ones to you.
Yeah, and then Mad Men's been like a classic since like
freaking
years.
John Hamm's
the man. Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, that's just interesting how like I didn't think I'd ever be interested in it. I just like recently finished Mad Men, or like watched it. Like, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago or so. Yeah, well, after it was been over since like 2013 maybe. It's been over for a good 6 or 7 years, I think, at least. Yeah. But I didn't think I'd be interested in a show about advertising. Yeah. But it goes like very in depth of how like life was back in like this whatever 50s and 60s whenever this was. And then
I think it's the 60s.
I think it is. Yeah. But and it like, I mean, like, it's just an interesting story that he has stealing somebody's identity to become like a very rich person. And,
and it already takes the premise of like when Madison Street was like booming, like with marketing and stuff like that, and how those people live their lives because of like how rich they got just like off of like what they do. And then they take a spin on that of like even like a crazier story of a guy who like stole somebody's identity in the war. Like
him and his buddy it was his fault that it happened too, because he dropped a cigarette, or it was his friend dropped a cigarette. Somebody had
he dropped a cigarette, and it blew up. Yeah,
it like blew up, and this guy's legs got blown off or something.
He got blown up. Yeah, and you couldn't tell. They couldn't tell who he was. They couldn't like identify the body.
Yeah, so, and he ended up dying. Yeah. I think they got attacked while they were smoking too, which didn't help. And and he stole the guy's dog tags when they were in the hospital together, and ended up stealing his identity, which is crazy to even think of. That you could just switch somebody's dog tags out and steal their identity.
Yeah, that's crazy. That identification, like IDs, weren't like a thing. Like you couldn't see somebody's face, or they didn't have it like in a database somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did, but it's like all paper records.
What the hell war would that have been?
I think it was the Vietnam War.
I guess it would have had to. If I'm not mistaken. That wouldn't really make much sense though. Because he started advertising in the 50s, and Vietnam wasn't until the 60s, right?
Well, I think it was set in the 60s. As soon as he stole his identity, he went straight to Madison Street.
No, he like the show starts like years after he's already a well-established like advertiser. Though.
Yeah, I don't think it's much longer. It's maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, but they go back in time all the time and show what he's like what he did when he was a kid and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I guess it had to have been Vietnam. Like, that's the only thing that I could think of around that time period. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting show though.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like all the stuff that went on back then with those guys on Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Good. Yeah, and we can get into the second half of the bracket. We want to record in like 30 minutes or something like that. I can help so we have enough footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll be back here in about half hour. I'll like edit the footage and edit this podcast real quick, and then I'll throw it up, and then I'll empty the camera's memory, so we have another like 20-25 minutes of video. We can do the other side of the bracket. So cool. All right. Well, peace. We'll see you in about 30. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, it would mean the world to us if you gave us a rate and review. Subscribe to the podcast as well, so you're first to know when we release new episodes. Be sure to download the podcast to help us out. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, the full-length podcast is in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe as well. Check us out on all of our social media. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat are all official SSOL. Again, that is OFFICIALSSOL. That is on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And you can find us at Secret Spice of Life on Facebook. Don't forget to check out our website and blog. New blog every Wednesday, and potentially some bonus blogs throughout each week. Be sure to check out our Patreon as well, because for 2019 and every year coming, we are going to monetize our Patreon for charity. So anything that is donated to our charity tier on there will be donated to a charity of your choosing or our choosing by the end of the year or every 6 months or so. But yeah, make sure to donate to that to give back to other people. And as always, have a positive and productive day.
Welcome to some shit that's considered legendary.